Hi, this is Flash Drasman with a new episode of Suzerain, Chapter 2, A New Sordland. It's about the third time I've attempted to record this. First time, OBS wouldn't record it. Second time, I forgot to press record. So third time, hopefully we'll get there. Anyway, we didn't miss much. I've just wasted about half an hour just messing about. Anyway, enough of my incompetence. Alright, let's get this one right. It's early evening, still light out with just a faint nip in the air. Frank was at a friend's. Diana was at her art class and Monica decided to go out for a walk before dinner. Our favourite place was a stroll from the nearby Capital Park, the largest green space in Love Hall. So before the children were born, we spent many an evening engaging in deep conversation along the riverside promenade. Another favourite path wound through the woods behind the presidential housing complex to a private pond where the children could swim in the summer. I was told that Son himself had built it. The benefits of being punished. I'm now looking to make sure OBS is recording, because I've had this conversation once. I had this conversation about 5 minutes ago. Anyway, Monica met me by the door and we put on our coats and hats. I was going to suggest we walk towards Salt Square, but the guards told me it's close for yet another protest. I wonder who they are protesting this time. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, does it matter? They're two sides of the same coin. Common thugs, I will make sure they're all punished. Must be the damn communists. Let's go with that one. Yeah, you were one of those thugs yourself once upon a time. This is different and nastier breed. In any case, where shall we go? I'm not sure Capital Park is a wise in this climate either. You're right, it's not worth the security. Let's stay inside the gates. Yeah, let's stay inside the gates. Agree. Let's go then before the children get home. I informed the guys about a route when I left the house. The guards followed at a discreet distance as we headed towards the walking trail. As we entered the woods, Monica broke the silence. So how was your day? Paperwork, endless meetings, usual nightmare. I don't know, I imagine you might find some might find that stimulating. What about your day? It was fine. I caught up on some reading while the children were at school. Just outside the gate, a glimpse of the crone of the fern. Just outside the gate, a glimpse of the crone of the former Minister of Justice walking towards Capital Park. I remembered that Naya Morgner used to be his Vice Minister, and he didn't seem to notice as he walked by. Ernest once fought hard and strong against solstice reforms, but years after the government blocking his every move, he gave up on his ideas and became part of the administration. It's interesting because the aborted attempt from about 10 minutes ago, I chose a different path. I chose to go out to the park, but it looks like we're still going to have the same conversation. Okay. So it looks like some conversations, whatever you do, will end up at the same route. But I suppose this conversation is, anyway, I'm not spoiler if I tell what this conversation is about. I'll just shut up a bit, shall I? What did our ideals really mean if they could be changed so easily? What about the people we idolise? Evelyn also came out for tea. She says hi. She was feeling rather low. Apparently, she and Peter had a bit of a disagreement. What was she nagging about this time? Peter's in the back. I said again, how did it happen? Keep walking in silence. Yeah, Peter's victims are liability in some cases, I think. Apparently Peter had way too much whiskey. As usual, didn't behave on Evelyn's father. Was over for dinner yesterday. You know, Peter, what do you think of this? Peter perpetually pickled. I'll have a talk with him. Good even seemed close to tears. Aren't you glad you and I don't have those kind of quarrels? Didn't say anything, we kept walking. You know Evelyn, she hasn't been the same since what happened to her at the whole post last year. You remember she got fired for supporting Alfonso. Peter tried everything to get her job back, but it didn't work. Maybe he didn't try hard enough. I don't think anything would have worked. It was a sad afternoon for freedom of press in Sordland, but enough of the about the vectors. I also spoke to Janice on the phone. Oh, Janice, right. You remember my friend from the university? We were in the Swedish literature class together. A few years younger than me, red hair, scar on her forehead. We had dinner with her and her husband once or twice. Neither name nor description rang a bell. Still don't remember what go on. Anyway, she's been working as an executive assistant at a Violet Picture Film Studio. She recently became pregnant, asked her boss for paid maternity, and guess what? She was fired for it. Look at the cost down, but obviously I don't want to lose money. Asking for paternity, that's terrible. And I was beside myself when she told me that's not all. They immediately replaced her with a younger, less experienced man, the son of an executive, no less. That's utterly ridiculous. I'm happy you agree with me. As happens, another friend works for a television station that's Army Secretary, so I connected with the two of them. That doesn't solve the deeper problem, though. I exactly knew we'd be on the same page. Women in this country are still seen as wives and mothers first, and human beings second. They're harassed at work, underpaid, blocked from positions of power, and those are the lucky ones. The fact that there are still places in this country where little girls like Diana are denied the right to an education, and I'll do what I can to change that. I'm pretty fond of most of the same choices I did on the abort attempt from about 10 minutes ago. It can't be just you. These girls and people like Janice need someone to speak on behalf of a role model, a successful woman. We reached a pond in a trail, a park bench overlooked the water. Monica gestured to it and we sat down. Which brings me to my point. I know that Mayor Enrica Curtis-Lest will be delivering a speech at the annual opening of the Benfey Festival. Remember, the Benfey Festival is the biggest festival in the country. My wish is to take his place and deliver the speech instead. Lester is one of Sordland's most influential politicians. He had started his career in Benfey before rising to power in Enrica. Benfey's current mayor had personally invited him to make the opening speech. Replacing him with Monica would likely anger him, not enough to cause a major incident, but enough that he might not support me in the Assembly. I want to base my speech on women rights in Sordland, on the oppression and discrimination we face every day on the basis of our sex alone. I want our voice heard, and this festival is time to do it. I just need your blessing as my husband and the President of Sordland. Monica's eyes were blazing with fire. I hadn't seen since we were students. She wanted this badly. I had to be careful with my promises. Right. This is probably, obviously, one playthrough, the first one, the abort attempt from 10 minutes ago, and this conversation goes the same way every single time. But it's a fairly pivotal conversation, but it goes the same way. I don't think it matters what options you take, you will end up at this point here. Right. Those of you that remember, those of you who watched the first playthrough will know where this goes, what could go on here. But basically, this bloke here is a member of the USP. He's very important. He was a mayor of Benfey. He's a Benfey boy, and we're basically going to drag him off the stage and stick Monica up there, talk about women's rights in a country. Women's rights are kind of like in the dark ages. Yeah. That says it all. Sure, it's just a speech. What's the worst could happen, really? You know, that tells you it's going to go bad. Does it have to be this festival? Why can't you make your speech another time? It has to be now. Absolutely not out of the question. I understand. Isn't it something you care about as well? So it's not Sordland's festival. It's positive stuff. We have to do women's rights later. So I can't make. Well, trouble that causes in the short term is nothing compared to the lasting positive change it will bring, not to for all of Sordland. Oh God. Alright, if it means this much to you, I'll make arrangements for you to speak. I don't think so. I don't know. Because if we were to roleplay this, I'd be torn between not wanting to upset my wife and also not wanting to destroy my political career, really. I don't know. Yeah, I've got to do that, because that's, if I was role-playing it, which that's what we should be doing, we should be role-playing it as if we are in Sordland, this is our country, we would back our wife up. Oh dear. Oh no. We are not weak, Anton, but we're only strong as long as we can stop our ideals. This is why I married her, this passion and resolve. I should have anticipated that sooner or later she'd want to join me she would join me in the political arena. We rest from the bench and started one making way back home. Otherwise it will end up like, yeah, because we met him outside. Exactly, he backed down on his ideals and never knows him for exactly what he is. Spineless. If that was how people remembered Ionis, how would they remember me? Whatever he had done, whatever his ideals he had lost, he must have had his reasons. Why would they remember me? Would they remember me as a true patriot to reform the country? What would they write about me in the history books? Let's get back to the house for dinner. Of course. Lead the way. He smiles. You know, I believe I will. We were after him. I talked to my secretary and asked her to inform Mr. Lestat Monica will be making a speech in his stead. The sun began to set over the horizon, bathing the country in shades of orange and pink. Yeah. I knew that conversation was coming. I didn't really have to make it. Ex-President Rayne. Okay. Order. Nationwide peaceful protests. Okay, they're peaceful. That's the main thing. Yeah. That's not going to be a pleasant meeting, that isn't. PFF bombs police stations. PFF bomb police station dire. 3 dead, 22 injured. The perpetrators escaped into gunman mountains near Suzerain. Boys are notified attackers in case they try to flee to well, and the Workers' Party Blue Deer condemned the incident. Okay, news. Let's have a quick look at the news. Yeah, we just heard about that. That's important to remember. The Workers' Party of Blue Deer did not agree with the PFF. We need to remember of that. Okay, Acacia is backing us, which is good. Detonation still in a tough spot. There appears that the court. Okay, yep, we knew that was going to happen. Geopolitics. Moloch condemns Acacia soldiers in Lesbia. Where's Zach? President Victor Smolak. So just a bit quick drink. What we're having tonight, same as normal, it's Brewdog Punk IPA. 5.4%. I love it. I love that much. I've got shares in it. Not a lot, but we're talking about 20 pounds worth of shares or something. Anyway, I digress. Oh really? Oh yeah. Victor Smolak on Thursday criticised lesbian government bringing locating soldiers close to the border of Welland. Last month, Prime Minister Alvarez and President Walker agreed on the construction of several military bases in Lesbia that would station ATO soldiers. To the arrival of the first Acacia soldiers in Lesbia this week, Welland stands to become increasingly hostile. In his speech on Thursday, Smolak said President Walker has succeeded in spreading Arcasian imperialism in Eastern Macopia, which will have consequences for every one of us in the region. ATO is clearly expanding its influence in our region using Lesbia. We must be careful, says President Smolak, warning neighbouring nations of Agnolia and Sordland would be prepared for this future crisis. You see, basically it's what we would class as NATO against the Warsaw Pact. Basically, is the easiest way to line say what that means. Yeah, that's we're going to get dragged into that. Absolutely guarantee it. Anyway, I keep looking at going, what have I done? Right. Analysis Boris says military capabilities against peninsular Vulnerability attack. The result show our military equipment is outdated and needs replacing as soon as possible. The contention of this worrying report shows that in the event of attack on our border, our border would be broken through easily. Yeah, basically, if we get attacked, we're dead. Something like that. Let's go look at that. So a session much shorter than usual concluded with a positive military analysis of Sordland field capabilities. The Chief of Armed Forces, Volkan Krieger, made a public press statement praising the administration and its efforts to strengthen the important branch of the government. Okay, that's not what I've just heard up there, lads. Which is correct. Let's go with that one first, because Gus Maninger and Simhal have prepared for extensive regional investment package to revitalise one of the 3 economic fragile regions by boosting municipal budgets, providing large sums of money, grants and giving cheap loans to companies with liquidity problems. The midst following region, Bergia, Lauren. Are you going to end up reading about any of them, eh? They're going to give me some. Bergia, whereas Bergia is there. Nargis is not on. Ognoland, Gessland, Holsword. And let's have a look. So we've got Bergia, Lauren, Agland. Let's go Bergia. Easily done. God blimey. Oh no. Government budget's decreased. Rest of Bergia is identified government's priority areas. Yeah, it's my own region, gotta do it. Okay. Yeah. That is what's gonna bring us down, I think. That and some of my really terrible decisions. It's kind of good. Pressing bets which is gonna bring us down first. Oh god. Oh, anyway, we're only going 15 minutes. It feels like 3 hours. It's exhausting, this is. Anyway, I was in my office reading reports from the ministers about the current situation of the protests. We scheduled meetings about law enforcement budget with Naya. Suzerain knocks on the door. Lilias, Neo and Lilias. Naya entered the seat and took a seat for Lilias. Lilias was absent. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Lilias will be late. Apparently there's an urgent matter at the Ministry of the Interior. She had to tend to. She shouldn't take long. What's the urgent matter? She says something about major supply distribution for police forces, nothing major. I turned my reports and smoothed back an errant strand of her hair. There's an awkward silence. Well, why don't we have a little chat? This might come off as a little strange, but I am proud of you. Despite everything, you're actually trying to reform the country. That's we, Naya, not me. Yeah. Oh, thank you. You certainly have a way with words, don't you? Words are words, actions what's important. They seem to be well. As for both self-opposed are cancelling out cons for sure. Lear forward. How are you holding up, Anton? Being president, I mean. It's hard thing I've ever done in my life, but also the best thing I've ever done. To imagine such responsibility, so much power at the same time. I'm to assist you in the country as best as I can, and to do that, I have an idea. We need to eliminate the worst problem we have: corruption. How do we do that? It's hard time oligarchs and Supreme Court stop holding the country in the palm of their hands. That's why I want to form a new unit, the anti-corruption police. That is my idea. Sounds like an excellent idea. I'm glad you agree. I'm still figuring out the details myself right now. Think about the possibilities. Also, one more thing about Lilias. I wouldn't trust if I were. She barely finished the sentence with a knock on the door. Nearly almost jumped in her chair. Lilias Graff entered the room, and I completely concur with that. The viewers of Season 1, Series 1, Playthrough 1, will know exactly what I mean. President, yeah, I hope you have not interrupting at your conversation. No, not at all. We're discussing a few things. Nice, smiled Lilias. I'm sorry for being late. There's an important matter. The Ministry just a small dispute of who should get supplies, nothing major. Lilias took a seat next to me. She continued talking. Well then, let's get straight in. We will provide a brief update on the situation of the law enforcement. Nod. Naya, the Minister of Justice Supreme Court is working in close collaboration with the Minister of Interior to address the protests in the country. I must add thanks to the hard work of the judiciary and the law enforcement forces assigned to my minister are doing their jobs efficiently. I would call it success of our forces on the ground, not due to the juice of a bunch of our government. Lilias shot at Naya a brief withering glance. As expected, the budget increase has boosted morale of the employees in the law enforcement agencies in these dire times when our people and ears are especially delighted. I think you will be glad to hear that support for you among forces at an all-time high, Mr. President. And for that, as all I say is bravo, this is an excellent decision. Agreed, the Minister just we are happy with the decision as well. The backlog of court cases are dwindling and we have started to fill the needs of the current situation. Certainly a step in the right direction. I wonder if you kept going this kind of... They almost like... You assume that if you go kind of that kind of route, you're going like kind of... It's all me, it's all me. You wonder what... I've never gone down that route. I will have to go to a place where we completely go down that route, where we take praise for everything. No, nodded, of course. Well then, let's move on to what we're actually here for. Due to the budget increase, we can start doing much more as the main branch of security in Sordland. However, a decision has come about how much budget balance between the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Justice. Exactly. When deciding, you must look at the bigger picture. I believe you have the right choice and pick the Ministry of Interior. Why should I pick you? Ministry is a much more significant important government agency. It is needed other funds, especially during these times where there are many processes in the country. Good luck prosecuting criminals or going through local governments without enough judges, Lilias. Verified how to balance the budget. Balance the budget won't help much in the current situation. Clear demands a decisive choice to be made in for the benefit of the nation. I agree we need to focus on 1 minister to achieve tangible results. Of course, it makes sense in the current situation. We would support much neglected Minister of Justice. That would improve the legal system in Sordland. Tell me now, who brings the criminals before the justices? The amounts of the police forces connected to the Minister of the Interior. Each day, the stacks of legal cases are piling up for judges, cases of corruption and criminals are alleged due to lack of funds. It seems that it is an organisational issue, not funding or the Interior. These are much more money for the police and local government, so I'm going to make my decision. What will it be? The funds are going to the Ministry of Interior and Police and Local Justice. The budget will distribute evenly between. Yeah, let's stick onto her and give it to Nia Morgana. The funds will go to the Ministry of Justice to reduce the court power and improve the justice system. Bad decision making. The right choice, of course. It's time the Ministry of Justice got the funds it needs. Brief moment of deliberation past Lee's got off from her seat. I must return to the Ministry and implement the necessary changes. Very well, see you soon, Lewis. I need to have a few words with Mr. President. Lewis left the room. Here's my proposal. Corruption has always been a major issue with any government. It is the root of all evil. That's why I'm proposing the formation of the Anti-Corruption Police. As a sub-branch of the Ministry of Justice, the ACP will be given full authority by the Presidency to investigate corrupt government officials and citizens. This will especially come in handy when dealing with corruption at higher positions. The Supreme Court and oligarchs that meddle in politics are just a few examples. I'm glad I turned down that bribe earlier, because that wouldn't have gone down well. Getting nicked by my own bloody Anti-Corruption Police. If you accept this, they will. If you accept this, will give our administration the ability to deal with corruption quickly and decisively. Yep, crack on. Exactly that. Start the prep work. You are making good decisions after good decision, Mr. President. I will be in touch. Near got up on the room. Okay. Let's read the news. Sacred symbols, sacred figures, sacred symbols of Dast unity, and including Dast itself, have become targets of vandalism and protests across Sordland. What initially began a protest as a protest against the murder of Bernard Circus in January turned into rioters forcibly tearing down monuments of former soldiers, posters, sects and other figures. Even if rioters successfully remove images of St. Dast or Torquil himself from parts of society, they only go to serve and strengthen our political will. See, he's old school. Okay. Friends Victor, term limit selection thresholds. Yeah, that's going to come back as part of the constitution change. He wants me to go further than I have done. Victor also talked about the need for education reform and expressed his support. That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, basically, when we come back to discussions on the constitution, I need to stick with her, because if he gets on with her, we need him on side. Economy slowly recovered. Thanks to the President's well thought out policy decisions since the beginning of his term, the session is finally slowed down last month, showing signs of recovery, but no mistake, Sordland's still in the danger zone. Ooh. We didn't get any good news out last time we played this. Horribly in debt, mind you, but horribly in debt, but hey ho. What's a few swordish ren, whatever they're called, between friends. Discussion on the changes of the tax system. I can't remember what I promised that Walter Tusk guy now. If anybody can remind me, shout out. Okay. We were at the top floor of the Business Council building, which had great views over beautiful Loch Haven. I looked outside from the tall glass windows. Marking sea stretches so far as far as the eye could see, and it was dotted with many ships towards the horizon. There were mostly cargo ships carrying precious goods in and out of Sordland. Tracing back the path of the ships, I looked at the harbour. Loch Haven was home to one of the largest harbours in the entire continent. Many dockyard workers were loading and unloading containers. Work never stopped here. Income. Simon and Michaela Anita entering the room. Mr. President. Mr. President, nice to see you again. So look here, hang on. I've drawn on myself what I promised Tusk. I promised Tusk I will give give tax breaks to large corporations. I also promised to okay, so it's I remember I thought it was it. Yeah, that's going to go down well. Oh, okay, I'll ask Mr. President. See me put down his bag, start collecting his documents, whether it's started to look receipts. Mr. President, before we start, I'd like to mention some rumours that I have heard. Workers' Rights Acts did not sit well with many of the business holders, especially the first section about a minimum wage. I've heard saying this has caused some businesses to lose millions of rand overnight. Fortunately, really, especially in a recession. I don't care about rumours. If someone wants to say something, they can say it to me directly. Yep. Patiently, everyone will be ready. Justice Glasses. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone here for the work on our tax system reform. We know how complicated the current system is, and this wouldn't be possible without you. He turned to me. The ultimate goal here is the end of the recession. Before we move ahead and start forming the plan, we need to determine our direction, Mr. President. We have a few possibilities as a result of the work that we have done so far. We increase and maintain or decrease taxes for large corporations. There'll be some of us in the room who have strong opinions about this. In parallel, we can increase, maintain, maintain, or decrease the taxes for small and medium businesses. Let's start with the large corporations and move to the small businesses. Right. What is the outcome of increased taxes on large corporations? I pay trade dust, basically. That's what's. With increased taxes, we'll have more government budget to spend, which may come in handy. On the other hand, it's not directly helping us revitalise the economy. Our government is already in debt. This may be a way to get out of that debt. I do believe that there is one way to get out of recession. It is though through trade and economic contribution to large corporations. Increase their taxes will turn them on you. Yep. I've got a step further. Increasing their taxes will have disastrous results and make you an enemy of them. Trust me, Mr. President, nobody wants to make an enemy of them. Maybe you're right. What if you decrease taxes for large corporations? That's an option at this point. Our state is broke. We are barely functioning with the help. We are barely functioning with the help of the taxes. We could balance it by increasing taxes for small businesses. I'm not sure that's a good idea in the current state of our economy. I think it's a great idea. Me too. You have them on the good side on top of you would have them on your good side on top of solving the recession crisis, Mr. President. I have to agree. Being there, I would come in handy. What's the downside of keeping it the way it is? I'm on the opinion that if we don't make changes, nothing will change. Stop the recession. We need to do something. I think so too. Agreed. What do you think we should do? I don't think we can do anything at the moment. I would prefer decreasing taxes. It doesn't seem to be possible. International trade is driven most by the products. These are corporations. They're the backbone of our economy. Exactly the increase would be out of the question. These companies are the backbone of the economy and we're out of recession. I'll let you make a decision. Very well. We decrease taxes for local corporation, balance the budget with an increase to do that one. -1 government budget. That's a decision. I agree. Thanks. This session will be solved in no time. People suffer, but anyway, yeah. Simon's not happy with it, but oh well. And I take note of our action. I will put the information into this as soon as possible. We'll increase our tax for small business, and there will be a large tax rate for large corporations. This will do a lot from the smaller businesses to balance the state budget. Sack of papers into his briefcase. Well then, thank you. They will be all for today. Good work. They left me to my stage a bit longer. Kept watching the sea for some more time. Okay. Yep. We'll get further into debt. Yep, we know that. Okay, well, then we need tax avoidance. Okay, alright. Right, so the pace we've got to say about us. What's this here? Okay, alright. Tax increases for small and medium corporations. That's new tax system. I did the change was increased by 10%, bringing 45% for small business. Immediately. Denying toast tax. Okay, so the young soldiers are denying any knowledge of it. Time in school wins some awards. Okay, I think we're going there soon. Red Youth call for peace. Public condemned opportunities to looting and violence taking place across Sordland. Says nothing to do with Burner Circus. Denied terrorist allegations. Commended attacks and Red Youth in no connection to the violence. Accused the police trying to sway the public. Oh, that's interesting. So we've had. Where did I see it here? Hang on. Was it Lockhaven? Here we are. The young swords are going, ain't us, we don't want violence, and now the Red Youth. Maybe they're calming down a little bit. Oh yeah, which is the new tour of the oligarchs. When will this end? The Ministry of the Economy has just announced a tax increase for small and medium corporations, being up to 45%, and tax cuts for large corporations. Yeah, okay. Oh great. Yeah, radical don't like me again. It's on its way. Okay, there. This will surely be welcome. Many large business owners will believe that it will be a good move to curb the effects of the recession. Fair enough. Geopolitics. Smollett threatens new military incursions targeting BFF. Sent to launch military operations in Northern Welland, close to the borders of Southern Lesbia, against Bloodish rebel group the PFF. And television interviewed to go support for next month's referendum to extend its pressure of the presidential powers. That the Smollett announced the military is preparing for a new internal operation with possible cross-border implications against the BFF. This point out a tough stance against the BFF, which is fighting for minority rights, plays well into Wessex nationalists. Smollett has pledged to eradicate Bloodish groups in Welland, the Democratic Party of Welland, and the militant organisation the BFF. There's some possibility of already tense relations with our neighbours, particularly Sordland, which is a large number of police minorities living close to the border. Yeah, that's not good for us. So basically what he wants to do is, this is lots of blood to live here. This nutter down here wants to go and attack them there, which is going to cause problems for us in here. Okay. That's another bit to look at. Wolvenberg. Queen Beatrice Limited calls Sordland a threat to world peace. Is she on crack? Are you having a laugh, woman? Queen Beatrice Livingston appeared on TV to call Sordland not just a threat to the peace of Eastern Macopia, but a threat to the peace of the entire world. She condemned the riots and the police violence in Sordland. She also expressed her worries for the direction of Sordland and headed what direction? She is a Wolvenbergian army to secure the southern border, fighting violent incidents in northern Sordland. Blimey. She's of a different planet, that one is. Just an excuse to rack up the tensions with us. Alright, so here we go. Let's see what the water in its skull's got to say about itself. As part of the plan programme, we arrived in Leon to visit a middle school. The prestigious Towan School was situated close to the suburbs just outside the city centre. The buildings were flanked by two hills, each dotted with shrubs and flowers. Lucian and Kiara and I got out of our cars at the Met entrance. Our presence I had not gone unnoticed, apart from the guys, there were at least 10 reporters following us around. This must be the principal, like this way, sir. The principal was a man of short stature with a bushy moustache and a pair of glasses. He approached us quickly, but was stopped by security guards and started patting him down, searching him. Wait for them to finish. You waited for the finish of the search of the principal, and one of the guards turned to me and nodded. Mr. President, such an honour to meet you. Shake his hand and smile for the cameras. Reporters instant tap to your photographs. Welcome to our humble school. It's good to be here. Excellent, you must be Mr. Gallard. It is a pleasure to meet you. And Miss Wilder, so good of you to come all the way out here. Thank you. At the entrance, the school's motto is inscribed on the wall in giant letters. Istretten si agnika av gerangna int alla almerg walatens int allo maxis. Yeah, I've probably said that horribly wrong, so I do apologise. But as you probably noticed, I struggle to read the English language, let alone that. Anyway. Education is a premise of progress in all societies and all families. We walked through the gates. There were many students lined up in front of the stairs of the main building. The school band started playing as we entered. All of the students immediately snapped to attention and turned to me. It looks more like a mill institute than a school. Exactly that's what we pride ourselves on. Discipline has the utmost importance in our schools. We need to educate people, not soldiers. On that we are aligned. I can assure you that our students are well educated. In fact, the school is in the top 10 middle schools in all of Sordland. Now we're watching students take their daily student oath. Oh, it's one of these that teaches national spirit over practical classes. The boy and girl went to the middle and grabbed the microphone. The students turned to them. I am sword, my strength lies in my blood. Girl, I respect our honourable elders. I will protect the young. My life belongs to Sordland now, and it will belong to it forever. Girl, I will always follow the guiding light of Colonel Sol and the Great Sword. You know, that's your issue. Oh, good old Colonel Sol. Oh, eggs, Morgan West Cora, Vector and Sister. And nod at the kids. I almost forgot the words, which proves the uselessness of this oath. Not even remember it after no one ever remembers it after they graduate. If you wish to follow me, we'll take a look at our classrooms. Through all the ways we made our way to classroom 7A. As soon as I entered the classroom, everybody rose up and snapped to attention. Sit down, please. The students sat down. The same born girl walked up to us. These are my top students in my top class. This here is my son. The boy came and said to me like a military officer. Tell me, President, what you want to be. I want to be a general, sir. I must sacrifice myself for you and for the country and you, sir. I'll do whatever I can not to let that happen. What are you teaching these students? Prince looked at me, extremely surprised. This is not to your liking, I am sorry, Mr. President. The cameras flashed. This is simply ridiculous. You are raising soldiers here, not students. I'm sorry, sir. I am so sorry. I immediately performed disciplinary actions. Oh my God. How about you, young lady? What do you think about this? She's our top student in this class. Her excellent grades are to... Didn't ask you. Get stuck into him. She bent down and gently addressed the young student. What do you think about your school just between us girls? I'm sick of having to knit and sew while boys learn science and chemistry. I'm smarter than all of them. Why do I have to take these stupid handcrafted classes? Shh, you do not who you talk. Shut up and let her speak. I do like this Kira well. I do like this one. Kira's presence had emboldened the girl, she went on. My math and reading scores are the best in the school, but they won't let me take the classes I want just because I'm a girl. I want to be a scientist, not some soldier's wife. You heard her, Mr. Principal. You will make necessary changes at once. We need people like you in this country. I applaud your determination. We need more than words. We need actions, concrete actions. We need to protect girls like this. The cameras flashed again. Got to press her there. I looked around the classroom and saw a large portrait of Colonel Sol. Take that down. But sir, that's a portrait of Colonel Sol. We can't just take it down. I gave you an order. The principal reluctantly took down the portrait down. Even the reporters looked confused for a minute, even taking many photos of the portrait being taken down. Kay smiled, and when she realised I was looking at her, she nodded. Rather unfortunately, we're almost out of time. We have other meetings to attend to today. We blazed in, completely destroyed the entire education system, and take down this picture of Sol. Mr. President, listen, please go ahead. I will like to talk to this girl alone. Very well. Thank you for your visit to our school, sir. Come on, class 1, 2. All students in the classroom yelled, but the boy whom I met was the loudest. I'm Morgan West Cora. I shouldn't have replied to that. Another round of photos. After another round of photos, we departed. Okay, let's see what the press think about that then. Miss School was special for President Rayne and Minister of Education, Mrs. Wilder. The students and staff at home, one of the 5 most prestigious schools in East Sordland, welcome special visitors. They're basically not reporting it. Are they the ones with the papers that we might have got in my pocket? They might be. Today, proposed Sordland Prayer Language Act in Assembly. The proposal aims to standardise language of prayer in disorders that are Sordland. Again, that's just kind of... Yeah, I'm not having that. Oh, it's been the Colonel in the morning, President Rayne. Known to be a price-lavish establishment, Tuskall is the most popular middle schools in Sordland. During the visit, the President was seen speaking to pupils and school staff before ordering the removal of Tarquin's Hill portrait from the building. Brave move still stands unknown. Okay, yep. Alright, okay. Let's have a quick blind and see what else is going on before I go down to that thing down there, because that's going to be more fallout of my... There we go. We were still there. Let's have a quick drink. We were still in Leeuwen, staying at the modest guest house. For state employees, Kara set up a meeting with me and Lisa and gave her go over her plans for education reform after school visit. Sat across me at the table, going through the documents. Kara had entered the room. After the visit yesterday, I couldn't even sleep thinking about that poor annoying girl. I've never been so sure I've never been more sure of my intention to reform my education system. Lisa took a read glass and put them on the table. Yep, I agree. I agree an education reform is necessary, exactly. The students have to repeat the same source of propaganda every single day. They're being brainwashed at an age when their minds need to be free. On top of that, young girls are denied the same opportunities as boys. They're forced into the role of housewife or even reach puberty. Then nothing's changed since I went to school. Women like me, Lilith, Nia, and even your wife have to study twice as hard to receive the same university education that you and Lucian took for granted. Is that the type of country you want your daughter to grow up into? Mr. President, we need to bring change. We need to free the minds of the young people. They are our future. We need to keep politics out of the curriculum. Sol should only be viewed as a historic figure. Children should have to repeat his name every day. That's actively poisoning your minds. Instead of thinking for themselves, they learn to take things at face value. We also need to make sure boys and girls have the same instruction. Handicrafts like knitting and sewing should be taught to both sexes or not at all. Sordland's youth must be technically skilled and capable for the next decade. We won't be possible with the amount of nationalistic indoctrination now minded thinking found in some schools today. Either we raise a generation ready for the challenge of the future or not. What will it be, Mr. President? What do you think, Lucian? Do those expect colonels for its time has passed, now's our time. I do think we might be the first step of a larger plan. Reform the education system. We're not going to get to work immediately. That decision is made, let's move on. Very well. Kara skimmed over the documents before continuing. After the budget increase, the Ministry quickly began formulating plans on how to effectively use the money. Before moving forward, the question keeps coming back. The question of keeping education state funded or allowing new private schools remains open. What's the benefits of private money, basically? In my opinion, clearly I'm against it, but it will give us additional funds for education while increasing competition. It would support our overall economic strategy of promoting market economy. We have enough money to improve education in Sordland. We do not need complicated things with private incentives. Which is decision. Yep, I did promise it in my little conversation with old Walter Tusk. Will do. That should be it for now. I'll get to work. Come back later. It's been a very productive day. We'll return to Whole Sword. Thanks for your time all day. We dispersed after spending nearly an entire day together to come home, but to simply breathe a fresh evening out of Leeuwen. Without Karma here, somehow I would have to return to the chaos of Whole Sword soon enough. Okay. Oh look, government budget's gone down by one. We're only colossally in debt now. Tens of thousands of member states were driven out from city centres by right place this weekend. According to sources, thousands have been detained. I don't believe that. Rayne is making a mistake. Ruling country without addressing politics and negative effect on security, culture and economy. I haven't even bothered reading that. The guy's a lunatic. Here we are. He's announced upcoming change in the education system. Mixed response. Okay. It's not gone terribly badly, but it's not gone down horribly badly either, so quick glance, nothing else to see up here. Okay. Right. Report from a whole sword. We've started work on education reform. Minister of Education Keir Walder is reporting that she was working on improving education reform. The details of education reform will be finalised in a couple of months. If the reform package is accepted, next steps of the process will be to discuss the indoctrination of education. Intelligence reports that United Contana has successfully launched a second satellite which has capability of radio communication. This means United Contana radio communication will be able to transmit it through a satellite for the first time ever. Oh, there, I'll get there, jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, right. Let's read that. I'm not putting off this conversation we're about to have, honestly not. Okay, order. Anti-corruption police. Anti-corruption law. Okay, right. This is going to be a difficult one. I was out to the Grand National Assembly, which was only a 5-minute drive away from the palace. Today I had a private meeting with Gloria Toy, one of the leading figures of USP, to get her approval for my proposal. For the proposal, she is a key in reaching 150 signatures in the process in the proposed new constitution. As she has extensive control over the Conservative and moderate wings. This is going to be a big meeting. As I walked through the corridors of the GNA, I was confronted by members of the stock building. Despite being a member of the Assembly not long ago, it felt like a distant past. I walked into the left wing of the Assembly, which had currently acted as a quarters of USP. Gloria's office was the first one inside. I knocked on the door and entered. Let's be formal. Good to see you here, Mr. Rayne. It's a small, neat looking nice office with small figurines, photos and plants around the palace. It was a homely feel unlike my own assembly office when I worked here. On a gesture, I took a seat. The chair was very uncomfortable. How are you doing, Miss Tory? Fine, Mr. Rayne, how are you? Good as I can be. That's all we strive for. Oh, no, let's keep this simple, Mr. Rayne. We're both the way you're here. You want me to give you my support. I don't see why the backbone of USP would support your wish reforms. They don't realise they're directly against the wishes of the founders of this party and the state. These reforms are not against anyone. It is all in the name of democracy. I need you to help me here. Do you want me to help me destroy what our party have worked for so hard to build? Even though you own everything to Colonel, so you think I think you never like to ignore the party you built. I would never betray our party. Whatever you intend to do, you'll be facing quite the opposition. That's all I can say. Let me explain how. We need these reforms to fix our problems within the restricted power of the Supreme Court. The people of Sordland demand change. USP must give them what they want. We need people's support. The USP is a party that knows how to react in changing times. We must lead the nation into the future. I don't know. Because she's old school, and if I go against them, you know, it's one of these two, isn't it? Times. Let's see if that has. I seriously do not know if the Conservatives were willing to support you at all. Election threshold. You must know that this will be bringing communists into the Assembly. You'll probably have to deal with them either, or maybe PFJ friends seems to be positive about giving you support to you. The increase is important to democratise our elections. I've never dealt with anyone. You pointed fingers without even thinking. Problem is, if I do that, I might annoy him though. Oh god, this is a tough one. I have no deal with anyone. Your point of let's go with that one. Don't know what your acts can even justified inside the USP. Not support elections, I should 8%. This is a dangerous situation. It will gain more power. I'd rather leave the social as it is. Ooh, I don't know. It gets it on the side. A direction, but you'll change the amendment on laws are major obstacle. We can't condone the threats against Colonel Sol. You want to punish him for the aggressive policies he pursued in the past. Is that the intention here? You can't win the fight. Mr. President Sol built the Republic in the midst of blood and chaos. He demands respect. I have no intention of putting Colonel Sol on trial. When it makes you think I don't respect him. You're seriously asking me, Mr. President, I thought you were talking about your proposal. Don't forget, I was one that, but I was there when you backstabbed President Solon in some of the competency of Alfonso. Look, I promise you won't be touching this. These ancient laws should be removed. Come on, let's 12. Moved. Fine. Let's talk about the other points. I must say that I'd like to change. I like the changes regarding the appointment of ministers. That's one positive aspect. But moving on, look at the proposal. You know what? I believe I can give you the help you require. The chair. I do have one condition. I want you to cancel that speech you're planning for your wife at Benfey Festival. Mayor Lester is not only popular in Benfey, he's one of the most influential members of USP's Conservative wing. Would we? What do you have to do with anything? He's not the only person who upset Mr. President, you know that. If you want Conservative support, you can't let the First Lady speak unless misstead. I understand, believe me, I understand more than your wife even. Tell me, why does she want to make this speech so badly? She wants the First Lady to be more than a terminal position. She wants to give soldier women a voice. So do I, but this is not the way. So 2 decades in Assembly, I know how real change happens. No Conservative men who hold power in this government will not listen to Mrs. Rayne's speech as have a change of heart, rather the opposite. They'll see a shrill, hectoring housewife who slept with the President for a spot on the stage and now is hopefully out of her depth. So I met her. I'm just telling you what others will think. You can't argue with that logic. Listen, I do believe statesmen could improve during our administration. The education minister has gathered ideas for a bill that appears quite promising, but you've got to have patience. Having monarchists speak now will be a detriment to all of us. I'm actually having a change of heart about this woman. First place, I just did not like her at all, but having a change of heart. Let Mayor have his little moment in the spotlight. His time will over be soon enough. Alright, I'll tell Marcus' speech is off. Thank you, trust me, it's for the best. Don't forget, Mr. President, the Conservative will be expecting a lot from you. I'll be expecting a lot from the Conservatives as well. I can get using this unity support. I'll talk to the Conservatives. I hope not many more surprises. That sounds almost like Star Wars, Darth Vader, the Empire. That does. Your lock of faith. That's what it sounds very like. Sith, that is. Go to my story. Continual advanced reduction of the economy. Yeah, really. Pat fair of a shot with here. Of course, I can't guarantee all Conservative Party will vote for constitutional changes. I have serious reservations about privatising healthcare state corporations. The support of my faction can change. That will depend on some extent your policies, but the signatures are at least as good as gathered. What policies make you concerned? Oh, we're too late for that. The state must be responsible for education. Your perform code corrupt our education system, bring inform and influence. We'll discuss that later what we expect is that you not to pursue further privatisation. If you stop privatising healthcare state corporations like that, I can help you. I'm not Alfonso. So I'll stick with a different name, I guess. She stood up. Believe myself clear. Thanks for stopping, Mr. Bennett. I hope you'll hold to your promises. Wow. Okay. Goodbye, Miss Dory, and thank you. Office. The consent was handled, but to get 150 signatures I needed, I would have to deal with Alvin Corbin and the reformist wing. I went to that stage to move back to Paris, I'm Italy, and told him progress with Gloria. Right. Okay. Alright. We're getting to an hour. Wow. We've got Gloria, we've got the Conservatives on the side. I might have annoyed the wife, mind you, but hey, we'll deal with that later, shan't we? She's got a point, though. She's got a point. She's got a point. Alright. I think this is going to be another difficult conversation, and I think it's going to take us over an hour. And so I think I'm going to leave it there. I think we'll get away with privatising education, but we might have to leave the healthcare alone. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Anyway, I think that'll do it for tonight. Well, for tonight it's me. Anyway, I think I'll do so. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to go. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Well, let me know how you guys are getting on with it, because I've seen a lot of other YouTubers have gone like real proper dictatorial things. So let me know what your playthroughs have gone like. Just anyway, let me know how you get on. Let me know think of the playthroughs. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks very much. Bye.